as a young adult that started working so young, you just learned how to carry all the responsibility without being a high schooler and learning how to fail safely. Like there wasn't an option to fail.
Ooh, talk more about failing safely.
Patrice's playlist, well, it's good listening.
Welcome back to another episode, another conversation with me, Patrice, your host here. And shout out to all of my line dancing, my country line dancing friends out there. This conversation is a treat. I know that so many of you have possibly seen my dance clips, my line dancing clips and videos, my country two-step videos, and I really wanted to give some more context to how amazing God is and the fact that He's connected me with so many beautiful souls and fellow believers in this hobby of mine, this passion of mine that I do, where I feel so alive. And you're going to get to meet one of my little sisters in my dance community, and you're going to know why I stick with her, why she's cool with me, the depth of maturity that she has at such a young age. And I love having friends, all age ranges, from early 20s to late 70s and 80s and anywhere in between. And many of you know, or maybe you don't, that I mentored teenagers for almost over a decade, probably a little bit longer, where I was on staff at a church, did youth ministry, all of that. And so I love connecting with all ages. And so I feel like this conversation, I was going to actually put this out a little bit later, but I decided to do this a little bit sooner as you are tracking with me, in this year that I'm proclaiming is my year of love. And there's been just so many wild hiccups. And you're going to learn about the situation, not the situationship, but the dating, talking thing that I am or was in real time when I recorded this conversation with my good friend, Morgan Horn. There's something really special in this conversation besides just seeing two friends do what they normally do on any given day by the dance floor, or if we travel to go somewhere dancing. You're just getting a peek inside to these conversations that we have. But I felt like this one was really important, especially, we've been talking about relationships. I just had Jason Van Ruler, an incredible therapist, on this podcast. You can just check out the episode right before this one. And that seems to be in the air. That's just really important. I'm hearing that more and more churches, the majority is becoming single folks. And it's an interesting thought to say, like, the Lord is not surprised that there's so many of us single. Possibly that's with great purpose. And there's such a longing and desire for connection, right? To be in relationships and to do it well, not just to have a mediocre relationship or a mediocre marriage, but to have a really beautiful and powerful marriage that really reflects the love of God and helps to share this almost too good to be true gospel message, but it is true. And so this conversation really comes from me from this space of, y'all know the desire of my heart to be a wife, to be a mom, if that's still the Lord's plan for me. I know my age, but I'm still open. And that's a strong desire. And, before I even recorded this intro, I just had a moment where, I'm in this space of talking to this person. And I realized, like, my heart is just so open and ready again, but yet feels let down because this person is not meeting me in the space that I want him to meet me fully. And that might be my answer, or there might be other things sort of yet to be revealed. I don't know. You're on the journey with me, but it's painful as well. And I find having these conversations and even sharing these conversations is really healing in the midst of what feels like never-ending disappointment or never-ending pain. I will say that there is respite, rest, and refuge when you just take a beat and slow down. After I record this intro, I'm going out for a drive to look at nature, just go for a walk, just to slow down and allow the Lord to continue his healing work and to address things in my heart that I might be projecting in this situation that I'm in, um, or things that are just not in full alignment, and letting the Lord speak to me his truth. And so thanks for being with me in this conversation. I'm so excited for you to meet Morgan, and we give you a lot of the local line dancing tea. Not a lot, but we do name drop in this conversation. And so if you are one of our line dancing friends, thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of this conversation. You will know who we're talking about. And if you ever decide to visit us in Southern California, come and visit us and me, where I mostly dance at. Whenever there's dancing happening, it's at Buckle and Boots in Lancaster, California on the Boulevard. So definitely give me a shout out, say hello, or just go and take a lesson on a Wednesday at 6:30 or 7 p.m. and have a great dinner and just enjoy yourself. So without further ado, here is my really special and tender conversation with my line dancing little sister of faith, Morgan Horn. Okay, so I met you. How did I meet you?
Oh,
How did I meet you?
it was at Buckles.
What's Buckles? What's a Buckles?
Buckles and Boots is our little like in-town dance bar, not a dance hall because it's very tiny.
Yeah.
Um, and I think you guys were trying to help me learn how to line dance because I was struggling. I was on the struggle bus. And so we just had random conversations and we just like really clicked and we just have been really good friends ever since.
It's so funny because I remember
Oh no.
really distinctly meeting you, and you were standing next to Tyler. And
Tyler.
I it was when he was like really trying to get into, sorry, we're
Oh,
blasting people's names. We're blasting people's names on
yes,
this
yes, yes,
podcast.
yes.
But
Tyler.
Tyler, you know who you are. We won't like blast you all the way. I won't say your last name. But I distinctly remember seeing you two, and you were kind of like on like by the tables
Mm.
looking at like the stage, like towards the stage or whatever. And I kind of came up to you guys and just I saw the glimmer in your eyes. I saw he was kind of like fascinated with everything that was happening on the floor, but I could see the glimmer in your eyes. But also just your like kindness and your sweetness. This is before I even knew you loved God, that you loved
Mm.
Jesus. I think it's kind of interesting in the country line dancing world. There's like actually a ton of believers, a lot
Mm-hmm.
of Christians in this particular subculture. But what I find fascinating also is the different age ranges,
Oh yeah.
because, when I met you, how old were you when I met you?
What? I'm 25, so that had to be when I was like 21.
Yeah. Yeah. So I met you at 21. And then I used to dance at a dance bar called Cowboy Palace
Mm.
in Chatsworth, California. And I would say when I was going, the median age range was probably like 55 to 80. Like, and I loved it. I loved it. And so I would go to that would be my home bar, learning how to two-step, some line dances, great atmosphere. Everyone was so fun. Then when I moved back home to Lancaster, really got more involved in more of the contemporary line dances. And there's kind of this battle for people that don't know. Like there's this battle between like old school line dances or how to do a line dance correctly, or all of this stuff. But I needed to challenge myself. And with that, I feel like the Lord really surprised me with friendships across the generations. And what I find interesting about you, I feel like you're actually ahead of me in certain ways, because you started talking about therapy, and
Oh,
we're gonna get into it.
we
We're just
might
gonna
as
go
well.
there.
We're right there.
We're gonna get into it. You immediately started talking about therapy, and I was a proponent. Like I've always been like inner healing, get your inner life right, all this stuff.
Hmm.
But I was such a hypocrite because I would champion people to do it, but I wasn't doing it myself. I was like, it's a brilliant idea. I think some people totally need it. Not like we all have baby T trauma and many people have big T trauma.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, at 21, you're like, yeah, I'm scheduling time with my therapist. I think it was you were traveling at the time, maybe to see this person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I want you to kind of just share like what led you to that place because a lot of people, and we're going to talk about dating and love and romance because this is the space that we're into. Because again, I feel like you were ahead of me even in dating because I felt like I learned how to date just like 5 years ago,
Girl,
like at the
that's not how
same
I
time.
feel right now. After
And
Friday?
we're going to talk about Friday. And see,
Ooh,
the cool thing is when this conversation airs, you will probably have been on more dates. No one will even know who you're referencing. No one will know who I'm
fair.
referencing in this because we're going to talk about the guy that I'm talking to, which I cannot stand. Anyway, I'm gonna talk about the
It's
dating
okay.
advice that's out there. We're gonna pin that. But I first want to kind of hear your journey, like what really led you to therapy, and especially as a young adult, where that
Mm.
could be just super scary. What were some of the dynamics that you were dealing with that felt like you wanted to move towards that?
Oh, so many things. So little context in high school. We always have drama, but like this seemed a little more than needed. And I was always referred to as the confident, well, maybe not confident, more of I was the reliable person at church for like in our high school group. So our high school pastor at the time would literally look at me and go, "Hey, go talk to this person. She's new." I was like, "You're only doing that because you trust me." So like I know it's a good thing. But in high school, like just drama after drama, and I was just trying to be like the Christ follower of like I'm gonna call you out kindly, and I want to keep your heart safe because that's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about like you doing stupid stuff. Like we're all gonna make mistakes. Like not a big deal. But when that happened, it was a friendship that had been a friendship since we were 5, and it blew up. And so that was a thing. My mom sent me to therapy. She's like, "You're not you." And I was like, use better words as an adult, hindsight. And so I didn't like it because it's me just crying to this person and them not actually giving me good advice. Like there was no like biblical advice, but we did find out that I had ADHD at the time as a junior in high school. So that was great. That helps your brain kind of click stuff. So jumping forward to 2021, that was the year I got attacked by a dog. So that was a whole thing. And so when I was like life was zooming and I was trying to get through stuff and I was just a mess. I was crying at least 3 times a week. Your body can't sustain that. And I'm like, maybe I should go talk to somebody. And so I talked to a therapist friend of mine. I'm like, hey, where do you recommend I should go? Because I don't want to go in the valley just because too many people know each other. And I'm like, I don't, that's awkward. I don't want that. And so I went to a company called Sift. I love them. I don't know if there's everybody's cup of tea, but I personally like them. And so I've been with the same therapist for 3 years, 3 or 4 years now, which is really cool. And so I'm able to really be vulnerable and honest about the anger that I feel or the sadness and really just get more context on how to deal with things. Because I think as a young adult that started working so young, you just learned how to carry all the responsibility without being a high schooler and learning how to fail safely. Like there wasn't an option to fail.
Ooh, talk more about failing safely.
Yeah, so it's a thing that I started learning within the last like couple years. So learning safely is okay, going out on a date. We're just gonna throw it out there because that's what we're talking about. So say I go on a date. I'm gonna throw out Friday because that is just what's on the mind. Um, so me and this guy had been talking for a little bit, and so I thought I had like we had good context, like we had good banter, cool, whatever. And so failing safely is you have this experience and then you have this gut feeling like something's wrong, but it's okay because you're safe. Like nothing bad's gonna happen because you both are respectful people, but like no one super enjoyed the date either, type of thing. Or when you're learning a new task, like for my job per se, I do sound. Um, and learning a new dynamic of that thing is having your boss behind you, um, and you do the work, but if something happens like, hey, I don't know what I did, can you explain it to me? That's failing safely. So like you're not gonna actually blow up a system. You're just trying it and someone's there to catch you if you need help. So that's how I do all the things.
I love that because also just to take it low stakes,
Hmm.
I think when people first start learning how to line dance,
Oh yeah,
there's like this safe space of failing safely because there's instructors there. You have dancers of all different levels. People, will come to us and say all the time, like, I don't have rhythm, I can't dance. But then before you know it, they're at least doing the electric slide.
oh
They're at
yeah,
least doing like, and I feel like people are going to be drawn to this conversation too because we're both line dancers. And I find that people are so fascinated right now, especially in the last 5 years,
true.
like what I don't know what has happened, but everything is sort of colliding. But people are really fascinated with movement and line dancing. But continuing on about your therapy and your healing journey. So what I was hearing is it first started with mom seeing that there was a difference in you in high school, like saying, "Hey, you're not you." And so I just want to give attention to that because I think some people might be listening right now and feeling like I don't feel like me. Like, I don't feel like me right now. And I know that I'm getting to that space. That's why I can't wait to talk to my counselor next week.
Bring tissues for sure. Just sobs.
That's all that I do. That's all I do with her.
Just kidding.
But like, when you start to feel like I'm not, and I was thinking about this today before I got on the call, because when you're dating and you're making yourself really vulnerable, and we're just going to talk in that context because that's very alive for us.
Hmm.
It's not just like this outside like skill set and activity that's being attacked. It is like your being. Like either a
Hmm.
person is like really receiving and seeing you, and then it makes you kind of evaluate like, do I know my worth? Am I worthy? They don't like me? Okay, yes, because we know we're not a good fit, but like, is there something really like wrong with me? Why isn't my life together? And then you start spiraling and then you start scrolling on social media and like everyone else has their life together. But what I was sensing and I think what's coming up for me as you're sharing, it's like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not really reconnecting back to who God says I
Mm.
am and who God has made me to be. I've now defaulted to my identity somehow getting intertwined a little bit with this guy that I'm talking to, whether he responds quick enough or not. He's off doing some amazing thing right now. He already pre-warned me that he was doing it, but I was like, I'm curious if he'll find time to like text me while he's doing this thing. Not yet. Not yet. So anyway, okay. Excuse me. So back to your journey of
Hmm.
learning how to fail safely. What are some other things that you've learned about yourself through therapy and especially doing this in your early 20s?
Lots of things. I'm a crier. That's a given. For those that are watching that know us personally, just cheers all the time. Um, I think part of it is knowing that I care. Ooh, it's gonna be fine.
Mhm.
I care very deeply for people and things that I care about. Um, and I think a lot of the times I tend to sacrifice personal time to care for others. And I've had to learn to say no and say, no, this is my time. Like a couple weeks ago, we had a drama thing here at where I work, and I had to say, like, I'm gone for an hour. Like, this is my therapy time. Like, I'm not changing it. And I already made it to every other week. So, like, I want my time. Like, I don't, ooh, it's gonna be hard to see now. It's fine. Um, I'm just gonna go without the glasses.
Yeah.
Um, so that's important. I've learned a lot about how to communicate in a way that's honoring everybody. So there's like three
Mm.
ways to honor yourself. You think of like a peace sign. It's honoring you, the person, and the situation. There's three
Oof.
parts of it. And so I've tried really hard to do all of that because it's important. Like I don't want this person to feel left out, but I also have to stand my ground. Say, this is what I stand for. Like, don't gaslight me or don't even gaslight myself into doing things that I'm not comfortable with. So like Went to a wedding yesterday. I did not want to stay for the reception. I was tired. I worked the whole wedding. I'm ready to bounce. So I got food and then I drove and went to church at a different, like a, that's a little far away. And that's honoring myself because I did what they asked of me. I stayed a little bit to honor the other person, but I also honored the situation. Like, I need Jesus. Like, it's okay. And so it's learning how to make those boundaries and time for yourself to um, be you again. Because when you're working yourself to the bone,
Mm.
you literally lose pieces of yourself because you don't have the time to glue yourself back together.
Ooh.
Um, and a lot of times I wouldn't glue myself together. I would give and give and give.
Mm.
And so everyone would just get more emotions of me than they would get me as a whole. And so
Wow.
I know, ooh. So I've learned to say that's not in my capability right now. I
Wow.
would love to help you a different day. Like someone needs me to make a wedding video. I'm like, I'm not working right now. Like I'm not gonna do it right this second because I'm in church. Like I'm not
Mm.
gonna have this whole conversation. I might be able to give you a solution tomorrow. And that's okay. Like
Mm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
still getting my job done, but it's within a doable time frame, not stressing myself out to the point I'm crying.
Mm.
So I haven't succeeded completely in that, but it is a thing I'm working on.
Listen,
Why are we in?
I love
Sorry.
it. I
Can
love
I?
it.
No,
Yeah.
it's not my job. I'm not on the clock. I'm not gonna worry about it.
I'm gonna keep this
There's
in just
literally a
for fun.
sheriff. There's literally a sheriff badge. Like just chill, like trying to knock on the door.
Of course.
I don't know what they're doing.
It's welcome to Patrice's playlist. Welcome to the podcast.
Sorry.
Life
Life is
gets to ha
lifing.
Life is lifing. Life gets to happen, and I want people to see this because this is how we have conversations. We have
Oh,
conversations on the dance floor. We get interrupted all the time, but we go this deep literally anytime we are together. And see, y'all, I know y'all are already starting to hear the wisdom that is in Morgan right now. Like, I already know some of my girlfriends that are listening to this were just like, boundaries with a time frame. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. You also talked about learning how to be you again.
oof.
And that part, that's hitting home for me. That's hitting home for me because I think anytime I start to get into a dating relationship or just have hope, it's still somehow intrinsically tied to my self-worth. And I don't want it to be.
Mm.
I really don't want it to be. Like I was thinking of the literally the days before I met this guy that I'm talking to, how fancy free and in my body I felt like as a Patrice. And there's all this, girl contemplation that we start to do when we're considering a person. And we were talking like we both were paralleling, with the guy that you're talking to and the guy that I was talking to. And they both really appear to be really good guys. Like we'll give them that. Good guys,
Mhm.
but there's always more underneath the surface. And navigating that, I am also not an expert in that. Like I was like, I thought, okay, I'm ready now. Round two in 2025, it started really rough. Everyone knows I had this really hard dating experience and breakup. You knew about it as well before the rest of the world did. And that just really took the wind out of me for a minute. And then to kind of, you know how it is. We've both been through breakups. Then to finally feel like, oh, something feels hopeful. And you're already kind of like,
Mm.
but you're trying to stay open but also be wise. How do you navigate that? Because I honestly do feel like you are ahead of me in certain ways in that and really holding your boundaries. How do you do that?
Oh, I don't feel like I'm holding that boundary well at all, but thank you. Um, it's it's a fine line of keeping my heart guarded.
Mm.
Um, I'm also like super guarded when it comes to like physical affection. So I think having that as like a solid line, even subconsciously, I think is very helpful in just like navigating a possible relationship because as soon as you introduce physical touch, your body just goes out the window. It's like, I want to do all the things. I'm like, we're not doing that. Like, that's a no-go. I think also of just really kind of giving them nuggets to see how they hold it, I think is also important. Um, because like no matter what, so say you're doing a test, whatever the test is, science, whatever, you always start with an itty bitty bit and see what happens, but so it doesn't explode in your face. So this person that I was talking to, um, like we had had really deep conversations about other things. Well, really deep as in like more than the average person, but not like relationship deep either. And so I was able to know that he could respond to it, um, and hold it a little bit. So I'm like, I trust you that I can be honest with you. And that's the nugget that was given. And so when I had to be honest, I felt comfortable to do so so fast. But then that leaves me open to his response. And I have to be okay with that. And I think that's a really tough thing in relationships, boy or girl, is just being vulnerable. Um, and how you respond is how people see Jesus as well. And so it's very, I keep that in mind a lot of like, that's why I don't start a lot of arguments and I don't finish a lot of arguments. Um, if it comes up, I say, I think we're a little much and I try to de-escalate it. Um, but just holding the space of giving them nuggets of, let me see what happens when you touch this sensitive part of me, word wise, not actual sensitive parts. It's so important because you don't know if you want to even be in a relationship if you don't even know if they can hold a little bit of banter, a little bit of vulnerability. So
Hmm.
I try to give them a little bit of space to hold something to see if I'm comfortable enough to sit down for 3 hours.
Again, y'all, oh my gosh, your wisdom you're 25 now,
I will
correct?
be, yep.
It's such a wild thing to contemplate. I just want everyone to know you're talking like this at 21. That's why I have traveled with you. We have gone to
You have.
Texas. We have
We
gone,
did, that was so
we
much
did,
fun.
we did a line dancing and country dancing partner step tour when we went to Texas and checked out. I forgot all the places we went to, but
Oh,
we
so
had so much fun dancing. And okay, hot take. Here's a hot take. Because you and I have talked about this, like partner dancing. Okay, we talk about line dancing, but now I'm starting to get shy about showing a lot of my partner dancing because I feel like sometimes it makes other guys a little nervous or insecure sometimes.
mm,
And because like with country swing, there's a little bit of that sexy or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Like it feels really flirty. And I would often joke like we get to have like 5 minute like speed dates.
Yes.
Like when you're dancing with
Yeah.
someone, there because often the guys are like, "Hey, how's your day? How are you doing? Or can I dance?" And then you got to get a vibe off of them. But like, I don't know, talk to us about partner dancing and what your journey's been like. Because also you talked about physical touch, and I'm the same way. I like to have boundaries when I'm dating a guy, and once I start to introduce, like, even if we're holding hands, like, I'm
Mm.
basically like, let's get married because I get no physical touch. Like I don't even have to. It's so simple for me, so I have to stay guarded. However, people have seen me partner dance, and I've gotten dipped and twirled and princess dipped. And for those
Mm.
that don't know what a princess dip is, it's basically it looks like the guy's like picking you up into the air and you're flying basically, and your legs are kind of up and your head is like towards the ground. But all of these things can be really romantic almost in a sense. So like how have you navigated like what talk to us about partner specifically country partner dancing because that's a whole
It's a
vibe.
whole thing.
Yeah,
I've always called it mini speed dating because it is.
it is. It is.
Unofficial or not, it's
Yeah.
true. And I don't know if we've talked about it, but I've talked about it with others of how that's the best way for a guy to get their foot in the door of talking to a girl. If you know how to dance, that is the way to do it. But not every guy learns that. And like, you're missing out. I'm not gonna lie. Besides the point,
Yes.
it in the beginning, I think it's just you're trying not to fall on your face.
100%. 100%.
When you know what you're doing, the door's open. And I think it's just knowing that it's more of a we're doing this as friends. And then if you want to be more,
Mm.
that's when you talk off the floor. So that's really key. So like me, I'm gonna drop his name because I can. Me and Lee.
Oh, dropping names.
What? You think
This
he's gonna watch
podcast
this?
probably not because he literally does not have a smartphone, you guys. He has a
That's
flip
not true.
phone.
That's not true.
Oh, really?
He
Okay.
has. Okay.
We
We'll
won't we
we'll
won't put him
talk
on
later.
blast. Yeah, we'll offline about that. But his
Um.
main what he has said to the public is that
Yes.
he mainly uses his flip phone.
Correct.
But okay, but there's other
Anyway,
things.
so me
Okay.
and Lee, we are
Yeah.
friends.
He's a great dancer.
Yes. Well,
Uh-huh.
yes. So a lot of people at Buckles think we're dating,
100%.
but we're not. Um.
I'm titling this podcast episode, Guess Who Morgan and Patrice Are Dating. Literally, gotta write this down. Guess who Patrice and Morgan are dating on the dance floor. That's yeah.
So, and there's a way that you can have a banter, but it's just like you two have to talk like you're humans, not just like
Yeah.
you're two bodies on a floor holding hands. Like
Yeah.
that's what it is. There's times where like we have another friend that we dance with, and we're just friends. You literally dance because you guys want to dance, and then you maybe have a conversation, you might not.
Yeah.
It's very much how you carry your tone after the
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
And if you feel like it was flirty and you don't want to be flirty, you tell them like, hey, next time like dial it down a little bit. There's guys I have to tell like, please don't spin me that much. I don't want to throw up. Or hey, that was weird. Or
Yes.
on the flip side, I teach them better moves so that way the girl doesn't feel unsafe. Because no girl, whether you're dating or not,
Yeah.
wants to feel unsafe getting dipped to the floor. Like,
Yeah.
so I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll explain something because I'm doing it for the better of everybody. And
Mm.
there's a way that that comes across that it's friends. Um, but in my experience, it's more like you have to read the room, and if you're confused, like don't be afraid to ask.
Listen,
And I'm still afraid. I'm still afraid to do it,
you're
but I
helping us
do.
grow up. You're helping us grow up because read the room and don't be afraid to ask. Listen,
I've dropped subtle hints at Lee, and I
I'm
try to get people to help me. I'm like, someone help. Like I don't. Mhm.
is this a cry in this podcast episode?
I'm not crying yet. I'm not crying because of that.
No, 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 no. I mean, not a cry, bad cry, but like are you throwing out your
Help.
hanky? Are you throwing out your
I ju-
are you dropping your hanky on this podcast episode?
okay. The amount of times we have gone on solo trips to go dancing is wild.
She's dropping a hanky. This is my most favorite. I hope something happens.
Hold on, time out. Did I tell you? I'm so sorry. I'm interrupting this podcast for many things. Did I
This is
tell
great.
you about how a friend of mine took photos of me in this guy's car? Not a guy from Friday, but for me and Lee.
Oh no. Yeah, because there's a PS though, there's a lot of girls that have a crush on Lee. I
Everyone
did
has. It's because he dances. I'm telling
yeah.
you.
So
I'm
guys,
telling
the
you.
PSA, the public service announcement for you guys. If you have trouble, if you feel awkward around women or you feel you are not meeting quality women or women that you think are fun, I'm telling you, I don't care what kind of music you are into, get into a country dancing bar. And again, you don't need to drink. Like I
True.
barely like you don't need to drink. Literally, you can just go to dance and buy a Sprite or something, to support the establishment. But like it's really just to dance and to
Hmm.
connect and to do something fun. And you do not need to be an expert. But we as women, we just love when we see guys just getting out there, when they're sincere, like really trying to learn, not trying to be like, I don't know,
Jerk.
a jerk about it and weird. Um, but okay, I'm gonna stay on this whole Lee thing. Because I love how we just literally put his name on blast. We put
We
so many
did.
people on blast, which is so great because this podcast
This
is
is
gonna be for
literally
the
how we talk in person. If you
this
guys
is
ever meet
yeah,
us, that's what
100%.
it is.
This is literally what it is. So, um, okay, so here's my question though. This is what I've been trying to discern because I have been afraid to I think really it kind of started this year, show like more pictures of me partner dancing. And I've been partner dancing and like Lee and I have partner dance. And it looks so fun, all the things. I think I showed like one dip or something that
You
like we
did.
did. But I feel like it can like scare guys away. Okay, but that's not really my question. My question is when you're dating someone, because everyone we know dancers that have different rules. Like if they're a couple, they don't want to dance. Some people don't want to dance with anyone else. Some people have like what's your take? What's your take? And I'll share some of what I feel like my take is. If you are in a dating relationship, what's your this is just Morgan's personal philosophy, because some people would be like, well, once you're in a dating relationship or you're in a relationship, you shouldn't really be partner dancing, or that could be really weird. That's like having other baby dates, mini dates. What's your take
Yes.
on that?
Many conversations have happened because of this. Uh,
Oh,
oh no, we've talked about
I
this.
know, I know we have. We're
So
letting the
my
people
take
know.
is yes, we're letting the people know. So my take is I think it's okay, but if there's something that you like, you and your partner have to communicate and say what's okay and what's not okay. Because like some guys are like princess dips are too close. And I said, okay, cool. I'll ask the guy not to do that. Or like, hey, the guy seems really like into you, like don't dance with him again. Or vice versa. If like I see a girl that's being real handsy, I'm like, would could you not? Or like, and it's always if you guys have never been in a relationship where you guys like dancing is your life and you guys do it by yourselves and now you're together. I think it's a you have to try it out and see how you guys feel about it. Like to be honest, because how would you guys know how jealous or how like carefree you are if that's never come up before? And so my hot take is do it and then communicate after. Or like sometimes I've straight up when I had a boyfriend that I brought, I went up to my boyfriend and said, "Hey, is it okay if I dance with him?" Like, and I think nothing of it because I'm just an innocent human. And I just like, I want to make sure you're good with it. And if you give me, yes, it's fine, I'm gonna take you at your word. And if you lied to me, that's your fault. I asked you an honest question.
Oh my gosh, y'all see she's a gangster. They're just okay, okay. I like this. Also, I really love how else will you find out how jealous or carefree you are? That line is like such a bar. I can't, because I think all of us want to be like, "Ah, I don't get jealous. Like I'm never jealous." And then you don't know until you know.
Don't know until you know.
And I think also we want to, some of us won't name any names, Patrice, like want to just appear like carefree all the time, like everything is going to be fine, hunky dory, and not use my voice and say, actually, that didn't feel good for me. And we know another, I won't say their names, but we know another couple that dances, they're instructors. And I think too, because they're instructors, there's a different type, like their relationship is just kind of different. So they dance with everyone all the time,
Yep.
and yet they're a married couple, but they're doing like,
Hmm.
we stayed with them also.
Yes, I was like, it took me
Yeah,
a minute, but I got there.
yeah,
I
okay,
got
okay.
there.
Yeah, and so their dynamic is really they
Yeah.
really appear to be super secure. They have
Hmm.
understanding. She's kind of like go and dance like with other people, but also they're instructors in their own right.
Yes.
They actually teach. So I think that's, an interesting and unique dynamic as well,
Hmm.
because everyone cannot pull that off. I think the way that they do. I mean, I've seen people break up for far less. Um, and I think for me, I think you gave me context for my answer. Because you and I love partner dancing.
I do.
It's so fun. And this is the way I see it in my mind right now, theoretically, is like it's like a sport. Like I
I
see it like a sport. And so when we're out of the like, I'm not trying to flirt with you, I'm not trying to whatever, that
yes.
dynamic, we're friends, but it's like a sport. And so if I'm in a relationship, I'm like, oh, I can't play my sport that I love
Mm.
to play. But if there is an element obviously of human to human contact, and I want to be respectful of my partner. And so I think that's when what you said really comes to play. Like, okay, yes, I still want to play my sport, but I do love this person, and I want to find a middle ground and
Yes.
see what works for both of us. So, because there might be something that he's into that I'm just kind of like, I don't know, I don't really care for you playing video games, 24 hours a day or whatever. I don't mind you playing, but how about you cut some of those. And so I think we both would have to kind of find compromise in some way. You seem like you had something.
I popped in my head, what if, out of relationship context, just for single ladies, like, what if that's the chance to let a guy lead? Because we're like independent. And when we're two-stepping, it gives us the option to be like, I trust this guy just to lead me. And that's all I want right now. Like I don't want to think about anything else and I just want to dance. And so having a guy or a lead, you're like, ah, like it's okay. Like it's fun. It's because it's like it's one thing our brain can shut off. Right? I'm sorry.
That's really the reason I'm telling you that's one of the reasons why I love partner dancing because I get to I think you and I excuse me, you and I lead and head up a lot of things. And people now know a little bit about your story. You know, you've been working and managing things. People are like seeing your background right now. They know you're in sound, you're over
Yes, all the
teams,
things.
all these things. But there is this thing, and I call it with the ladies that I get to coach and talk with, like really tend to our feminine heart, like our godly feminine heart, like the desire of just leaning back, not having to hold the world on our shoulders for a 5 minute song.
Hmm.
He might not even be on beat all the way.
But
I
if you're
can,
having fun, it doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. Well, it does to me still,
Yeah.
but I literally, my body, because it's like muscle memory,
Hmm.
knows how to mimic and just follow.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing. And so I love that you gave that encouragement to single women because we have a lot of single women that listen to this podcast, but then also, even if you're a married woman and if you can get your husband just to do one dance, like he cannot maybe be a dancer, but we can see people walk, literally shuffle, you know, and just having that moment where you just get to feel, I don't know, I feel like when I have a really good lead,
Mm.
man, you have to experience it, y'all. Like once you get over like trying to do the steps and all the things
Hmm.
and you're just really just trying to have fun. Like nobody cares. Everybody's just like just have fun. It feels so fun, so free, so safe. I don't know. It's just like it's an incredible feeling. I mean, would you say
What
would
did
you
I
say
say?
otherwise? Would you say anything otherwise? I mean, how
No,
is it when you
it's
two step?
oh, I mean, it also depends on the lead. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that is a key thing.
100%.
Um, sorry, I need my fidget pencil apparently.
Okay.
Um, to me, dancing and partner dancing, that's just how I have a release of all the tension
Mm.
that I get during the work week. And like
Yeah.
that's a place I get to enjoy and really look like myself. Um, because I
Ooh.
think you can attest to this. When you first got to know me, I was very kind of rigid and like I don't know what's happening. And now that I have my confidence in what I know what I can do, I look like I enjoy myself. I mean, I do. Unless I'm
Yes.
really tired, I'm just like there to be there because I just need something to do. That's one thing. But
Yeah.
you see like a genuine joy, and my body
Yeah.
doesn't look so stiff. And because
Yeah.
I'm so used to like being on all the time, of I have to be kind, I have to be courteous, I have to be professional, I have to do all these tasks while people are just still throwing things at me. When I dance, line dancing or partner dancing, I'm like, I get to have fun and I get to and it
Mm-hmm.
literally it forces me to relax, not like tired like relax to sleep,
Yeah.
but it literally gets my
Yep.
brain, it gets me out of my brain.
Listen,
And
I,
there's just times you need that.
I love that you said you said I look like myself. Like, and that's how I feel. I recently, like, by the time that this particular episode drops, the Jason Van Ruler episode will have been out for a little bit, and he's the therapist that I got a chance to talk to, and we talked about relationships and red flags and all the things. I needed that conversation because I was triggered the day before um, by something in my own heartbreak story, so it was perfect. So I'm like on the verge of tears in that conversation as well. But he's talking about like first dates and ways to connect with people that really feel good to you. And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm not great and I'm not myself at Chili's.
Yes. Yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
why are we picking spaces and places that feel so foreign to us and then expecting to really get to know the person that's in front of us? And so I feel like, okay, this is another hot take though. So, like, our happy place where we look most like ourselves is like when we're dancing or if we're country line dancing or maybe even in worship or at church, but we're talking specifically now about line dancing. And also, we don't really often like to date the people that we dance with or that we see. Like, what is that? Why?
I think it's I think it's situational.
Mm,
I do think because I don't date all the guys I dance with. I don't date all the guys I line dance with. Like there's this, and I think it's based on preferences on how what you want in a person. Um,
hmm.
and so they're just not our cup of tea. So why would we go out with them?
It's
Um,
true.
and like okay, I'll put it this way because we're church people.
Yeah.
When you see the dating pool at your own church and you're like, I'm not about it, and then you go to another one, you're like, okay, like I can see myself at least talking to this person. There's just not like the people
Yeah.
here are not my cup of tea.
Yeah. No, that's good. No, I think that's so true. But like, what if all of a sudden there were like all of these really incredible Christian guys that could dance that just showed up at Buckles?
Ooh,
And there's like five of them, and now they're like stationed out here because we get a lot of like people that are transplanted from different parts of the world, engineers doing
yep.
things with space, da 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 da. So it's great. We get like guys that pop in. And so say they have a 6 month assignment, and all of a sudden there's all these amazing guys that love God. What would be our stance then?
I think we don't want to jeopardize our safety net at Buckles. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Exactly.
not. I'm not gonna lie because okay,
Exactly.
Buckles is literally our bubble of we get to have I don't know what that word was. We get to have our bubble of our friends and people that we just care about so deeply. And
Yes,
so when we introduce them to the people we care about, you're like, you better not mess this up because these people are gonna like these are ride or dies.
they will cut
So
somebody.
like I when I've brought people there, like I'm really specific when I bring them. I'm like, okay, hey, like don't be a jerk, like my
Hmm.
friends, like
Hmm.
you, my
Yes,
brother and his
yes,
girlfriend. There we go. So I don't keep name dropping every 2 seconds.
yes, yes.
They're like, yeah, no, that guy was a jerk. Like, and one time Tristan gave him the stink eye and almost punched him. He didn't, but like when you're in your bubble, like
It's our safe
you
place.
you have your safe place, but then it's like a little unsettling because you want your friends to like them.
Yeah,
So I think if you guys went like dancing at Montana's, it's a little less, it's still your happy place,
yeah.
but it's
So good.
freeing because it's not your home.
Okay,
Because you're not ready
okay.
to be vulnerable enough to let them in your home yet.
Oh, this is so good. Holy Spirit, thank you so much because literally I had a friend leave me a voice memo yesterday because we were talking about me and this guy that I'm talking to, who it might be over today. I don't know. By the time we're finished, like, I don't know. I don't want it to be, but I'm in my head about it, so we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
Deep breath.
So, but he's on the East Coast and I'm, on the West Coast. And she was recounting a story of when she was dating this one guy and he was from an island and she was from the States. And they ended up meeting though, like at a neutral, like ministry place, like that was having a conference or whatever. And so she was talking about this like meeting in a middle ground, this neutral place that where it's still a safe place for both parties. And so when
Hmm.
you're talking about Montana's, two things are coming to mind. I was like, so if any guy sees you in a dance clip from Buckles with a guy, he doesn't have to worry because you're most likely not interested in, I mean, except for the guy that we mentioned earlier in the top of this podcast who does occasionally dance at Buckles. But for guys looking, I'm just going to put this for me. If any guys are looking at my videos and you see me dancing at my home dance bar with a guy, they're most likely like a brother or a cousin to me.
Yep.
So you do not need to worry. Even though that we have attractive guys, they are good looking, they're hot, they're handsome, they're actually really kind, but they're like brothers and cousins
Hmm.
to me. But I'm thinking about because I'm going to this worship festival, and it's in Atlanta, Georgia. It's called David's Tent. I'm definitely putting that on blast. And I'm already going there,
Yep.
planning that. And I was like, well, if this guy and I are still talking, because there was like jokes of like, okay, you come out to California, or whatever, just so we can meet actually in
Yeah.
person and do that. But I was like, actually, after my friend was saying this, it'd be better if we met somewhere neutral.
Hmm.
So I just felt like that was some confirmation for my own personal life. Thank you.
It's a thing. Like when you think about when you think about first dates, like
Ugh,
you rarely ever like let them come to your house to pick you up. Personally, but that's
not
because like
anymore.
guys are sketchy in Lancaster.
Ah, For the guys, for the nice guys in Lancaster, we still love you, and you can still
Yes.
try to date us if we're single at the time of you
Yes.
listening to this podcast episode.
Okay, let me back up. It wasn't a date, but me and Lee were gonna go dancing at Montana's somewhere that wasn't here.
Yeah.
And I didn't give him my address because I'm like, you don't seem sketchy. I'm like, it's just easier for me to church. It's a fat parking lot at a
Yeah.
church. Like, it'll
And
be
who
fine.
does that? Who goes to your house anymore? I mean, that was like back in the day, people would do
Yeah.
that. Some people
And
still
I'm
do,
like,
but I get, yeah, I get weirded out about that too.
yeah. So I'm like, we'll meet at a neutral location. It's on the way. It's not too far.
Mhm.
Like, it's literally, it's not much, it's not difficult for me. So, like, that's a neutral location. Like, meeting at a restaurant on a first date. It's
Mhm.
neutral ground. And so, like, maybe,
What's your favorite restaurant, by the way, for people that are listening? Don't say Chili's. I mean, Chili's, sorry, if you want to sponsor this podcast, we love you so much. I mean,
I
sort of
don't
sometimes.
know. Like, I don't think about
We need to
it.
think, yeah, what kind of food do you like? How about that?
Um, meat? Like, I'm a good, like, burger. Like, I'm a casual person. Like, I don't think fancy.
What's okay, so what's casually comfortable for you? Somebody
Like
wants to make
if
your casual comfortable dreams come
like
true.
if we want a comfortable first date, like a lunch spot, like uh
Lunch.
I'm saying like because then if you guys don't want to hang out the rest of the night, y'all can leave. Like
It's not even a judgment. I just want to know what is your most comfortable cozy lunch date?
like comfortable, cozy lunch spot. Oh, someone's gonna interrupt in a few seconds. That's okay.
That's all
Um,
right.
comfortable. I had it and I blanked. Panera. I think Panera's a good spot
Okay. I just
because I
wanted
like
the
their
people to
salad.
know. I just wanted the people to
Yeah.
know out there, especially the one that we've been mentioning this whole time in this
Yeah.
podcast.
Like he's gonna answer that.
This is
Ricky,
great.
Ricky's like, oh yeah, Lauren said like he was interested. I'm like, he hasn't told me. I don't. I
I
think
He
it's a
hasn't told
lie.
me anything.
I honestly think Ricky's just playing into it because Ricky just wants it so bad for us.
That's hilarious. And I just love that people are getting our Buckles tea. Like they're getting because we are literally dropping names.
Look at my mother right now. I don't know what she
Hi,
wants.
mom. Hi, mom.
I'm gonna answer her later.
Yeah, we'll talk to you in a minute. Okay, so we started, and I love where we went in this conversation because this season is called the season 4 of this podcast that I've been exploring. You okay? Okay. Um, the theme has been heal, move, and dream. And usually, I mean, aside from like the Jason Van Ruler call, which I knew was going to be about healing specifically because
Yep.
he's a therapist, but I never know normally where the conversation is going to lend itself to. But really, what I really felt like there was this tie together with healing and movement because it
Mm,
started with therapy and you being really brave to step into that at an early age. You have the languaging um, that just backs up that you're doing the consistent work. But then also, we started naturally talking about movement and like when we feel like we can show up as our best selves. And I feel like for me, it's very similar where I'm doing my inner work and I'm dancing consistently. Like for me, I know I have to dance at least every week. Either it's one day a week or it's like 2 to 3 if I'm feeling really whatever, some kind of way. Those paired together, um, like what would you say to someone who, because again, line dancing is now becoming all the rage. Um, and maybe they're too scared or too shy to kind of number one, go to a country place by themselves because maybe they're the only one out of their friend group. I was that person, the only one in my friend group that wanted to go, but now everyone wants to like, Patrice, take me line dancing. I was like, well, you know where I'm at every week. You take yourself line dancing. So, but what could be the encouragement? I'm said it in a very unkind way. Maybe you have a kinder way to say the encouragement for them to kind of take a step. And then this also applies to if someone's afraid of therapy and
mm.
they know, as I'm talking to this guy, he's had some big T trauma. And I don't, guys are interesting when it comes to processing trauma because they compartmentalize. I said that really
Yep.
weird. Compartment. I said it.
I hate that word. I
I
can't.
could
I suck at it.
compartmentalize. They put it in
Yeah,
different, like, and that happened then and there. And now I'm moving
boxes. Mm-hmm.
for, yeah, it's in the box. And we don't think about it, not realizing
Yep.
it's in your body somewhere. Your whole body actually lived the experience. What are you doing differently? What have you learned? And so with the guy that I'm talking to, I feel like he's compartmentalized things, but I feel like there's this beautiful invitation actually from the Lord for him to maybe do some of his own work. to maybe
Mm-hmm.
confront that. I don't know if we'll have that conversation if he ever talks to me again. Um,
Sure, you stick
but
friend.
I know. They're seeing the inner workings of our conversation and my heart. So I'm asking you at like the dancing and for men or women that are hesitant with therapy, what might be your
Mm.
encouragement that comes to mind for them?
So line dancing, I have a different experience. I kind of just went consistently and I figured out how to be confident. Um, but for someone that's doing it for the first time, if you just go to a bar, like a country specific bar, find the people that are looking at other people and just having a blast. Because those people are most likely the ones willing to show you. And that's when you're going to start learning your confidence and actually see the real culture of a family. Because not every line dance bar is that way. Not everyone wants to teach, and that's fine. But when you find the people that are willing to teach, that's the bar you want to go to because that's the welcoming bar. And then once you know what you're stuff, you can go to not that way bars and you'll feel still comfortable and confident doing what you know.
Yes.
Um, Therapy, that one, I think it's on your personal preference. You're not going to click with every therapist. You're just not. So, like, I didn't click with mine in high school. So, when I went back, I tried one and it took, ooh, I don't know what that was. It took like 2 years for me to feel fully comfortable and being honest about what I'm actually thinking. But if if you go and some therapists will say, if it's not clicking, like that's okay. I'm not going to be offended. And you can try another one. But the first step is saying, you know what? I have issues. I'm gonna at least talk to somebody and see, maybe gauge where I'm at. Because sometimes it might be you're able to just like have um coping mechanisms like box breathing. But if you need to really like have someone help you dissect your thoughts and like really get down deep, that's when you need to find somebody. And it's okay to ask opinions on what companies are better. Like I've heard BetterHelp is like a good for some people. Some people hate it. Or I like Sift. Some people might hate it. It's a very niche thing because it's different for everybody. And so I would just confidently say try it. The worst that happens is you do it once and never again. Or you do it this year, and if you really hated it that much, wait a few years until your brain catches up with what you need. Because I
Wait.
didn't think I needed therapy until I went and I was like, this problem and this. And it feels daunting in the beginning, but when you talk with your therapist personally, you're able to chip away at it in seasons. And sometimes something from you thought you solved a year ago comes back up this year. Like, I thought I was over this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, clearly it's not. It's not as bad. It's not a tsunami,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a big wave that's about to crash on shore. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
trauma is a reoccurring wave. Like, it changes, it doesn't go away. And that's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate, but it's true.
Mm-hmm. And I think that takes a lot of self-awareness though as well. And I'm praying because because guys are on my heart in this season. Obviously, we've been talking about dating, and we're gonna have a bonus conversation for my Patreon women about entering, especially our single gals in that space, which are quite a few, giving them some encouragement to step out and to trust love one more time and to date. And so we're going to talk about that in the bonus conversation. I want to also leave a link to the company that you use
Hmm.
for your therapy in case people are
Yep.
curious. But my heart, I think, too, in this, because I know mostly women listen to this conversation, this podcast, but I know there's some men as well. And if you are a man and you made it to the very end of this conversation,
Yeah. A lot of
w-
things.
I think that actually speaks really highly of you as a man. And I think it's the Lord whispering to your heart that you are ready to take the next step, like you're self-aware to take to take the next step, to possibly pay attention to your own heart as a man, not to neglect it. I've been hearing, people talk about the stats of suicide are really high among men. They've increased, especially after the pandemic. And we all feel sort of disconnected, just even as humans. And so, as I'm continuing to create this safe space through these conversations, especially for people of faith, and now people that dance with us. Like, I cannot wait for people that are not necessarily in our faith tradition or followers of Jesus to listen to this conversation and have a nugget to take with
Yeah.
them that will help them and just kind of breathe some life into them, into their journey, wherever they're at. But I really want to encourage the men that made it to the end of this. Do not neglect your own heart.
Mm.
Feelings and emotions are not just for women. They don't just go away. I loved how you talked about, like, yes, we do move forward often, when because we just have to survive. Like, whether you've gone through a little T trauma or big T trauma, yeah, you know how to move forward. But at some point, that trauma is going to scream. At some point, that thing is going to speak again. And we don't want to see you get caught off guard, and know that, again, God is for you, God is with you. We believe in the local church, we believe in the word of God, the Bible, Jesus, and the body of believers, and these tools to help us emotionally as well. So anyway, that's my little spiel on that. So again, this is called Patrice's Playlist, and I love kind of hearing what is a song or something that's speaking to you in this season and why.
Ooh.
Because I'll also tag that in the show notes also. Uh, I know we be listening to music all the time.
Um, well,
You and I share a playlist still, don't
yeah,
we?
but I haven't, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't listened to it in a
Me
hot
neither.
minute.
Me neither.
I think it's because we were going to Stagecoach and we wanted to blend, so we
Yeah.
both had our favorites.
Hmm.
I think the one that just popped into my head is A Better Yes by Better Yes by Travis Clark. And it's about it's about the Lord, and it's like him saying no, but also saying every no is a better yes. And every not now uh no, no, brings me closer to his best. Uh, uh, you're leading me somewhere. Oh my God. I'm like blanking on the lyrics right now
They're
because
gonna
I don't
see
want to
that
go
they're
full
gonna hear
voice.
the whole song because they're gonna click
Yeah.
on that link and they're gonna go to, if you're on Apple Music, you can also see lyrics, I believe, as well.
Uh,
But on Spotify, you should be able to see the lyrics, or just Google the lyrics too. Um, that kind of hit me.
yeah. It's
That
a it's a good song to me because it's such a good reminder, like, yes, every no is something better that we won't see until it gets there. And so I have literally sobbed
mm,
to that song, and I'll cry singing to it because it's just sometimes you just need a true hitting song of, maybe it's not like word for word Bible, but it's like it's a reminder of like we're humans and it's okay
mhm,
to wait for something better and to say no now. It's like this, our relationship situations, like it's okay. There's someone better for me, and there might be
mm,
someone better for them. But you
mhm.
still show them Jesus and you treat them like that, you treat them that they are a child of God. Because if we're treating them like they're jerks,
Mm.
we're not bettering them for somebody else. We're not even
Mm.
bettering them for the kingdom. Like
Th-
that's worth it for nobody.
Listen,
Sorry.
the maturity in your heart is convicting. Stop getting in my business, okay? Just
Girl.
quit it. Just quit it. Um, wow, a better yes. That is some truth right there, and it's also really like annoying. It's so good. It's so good. I'm trying to think like I'm wow.
I don't think
Thanks,
I've ever
Holy
gotten you
Spirit.
speechless.
I know. This is wow. Because I think too, it's not necessarily always giving up something bad, but also you could be giving up something good
Oh,
for a better yes. And I know, I mean, if I'm honest, like there's a part of my heart, like with the guy that I'm talking to, he's a great guy. Like there's no way I'm going to villainize him.
yeah.
Um, but he just might not be my great guy. And that's a possibility. And I have to be open to that. Like, God, if this is a no by this week, that means there is a better yes.
That's with life too. Like your job, like I
Mm.
had to let go of something that I loved Like, I loved working with these people. I said, nope, you're going to work on this campus, and you get to see them even less. Has my heart caught up completely? No, but it will. And I think that's something
Listen,
that you talk to the Lord about too. It's like, change my heart for whatever you want. Don't let,
change
like,
my
take the
heart.
bitterness, don't let the bitterness fester. Like, change it into something better.
Mm. And would you say, besides obviously the power of the Holy Spirit changing your heart, that therapy and movement also helps with that?
Does it not?
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to encourage the people before we finish this big conversation?
Don't let your past define you now. You learn from it, but don't let it define you. Use your emotions, make better choices. And for myself.
No, she's in our business, everybody. She's in our business. Make better choices. Holy Spirit, would you help us to make better choices? Thank you, Morgan, so much for sharing your incredible wisdom, for telling all the tea about buckle and boots, line dance, for making us both cry, making me speechless a little bit, and facing some things and remembering a lot. This was actually a really beautiful and rich conversation. And I'm going to probably show some clips of you line dancing and partner dancing in this for people that are watching this on YouTube and on Spotify, because you can watch it, the video on Spotify. So you can kind of get some context for Morgan and then also for what we do at our local bar, since now you guys know all the business.
No, all
And
the
fun fact,
business.
you know all the business. And fun fact, she has a twin brother
I
whom I
do.
love as well. We'll give him a shout out. Tristan, we love you. How tall is your brother?
6'4",
6'4". How tall are you?
5'4" on a good day.
So we love it. So thanks so much, Morgan, for taking time to be with us and to share your heart. We're gonna go and hang out with the women on Patreon for a second. So bye, everyone. Thanks for being with us.
Bye.
Okay, so you got to see us just in our element, seeing us just be real and silly, but I think we might have covered something that might have sparked something for you. I know we both left that conversation saying we needed that conversation, so thanks for indulging us. I'm curious what stood out to you. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Instagram. I'm usually there when I'm not on a social media break or hiatus, but it's at Together Good Co. And if you are in my Patreon space for single women, or not just for single women, for women of faith, we have a lot of single women in that space, but it's for women of faith who love Jesus, that also have a value for growth, love prayer, and just want an extra bit of encouragement. That space is for you. If that sounds like it's something of interest, that space is for you. And I do special bonus conversations from these podcasts. I also do my own Patrice Uncut mini podcast in that space, where you get more detailed information of my love life and my journey and how I'm walking that out in faith with my calling, with my job. Many of you know that I still do work in the entertainment industry as well as do other things. But yeah, so if you're curious to hear a bonus conversation where Morgan talks about how she approaches dating, how she moves past discouragement and heartbreak, and what her go-tos are. I'm telling you, I really do look at the way that she moves through the world, especially with guys and with dating. I've learned so much as someone who's twice her age. I've learned as a believer, how to really be brave and courageous, put myself out there to believe in love, and also take the time I need to heal and also stay open and soft. And so I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I look forward to sharing the next conversation with you, which was this season has just been a dream. And I have watched this other person from afar. I don't know if I teased this conversation prior, but I have watched this person interview other people from afar for years. And I was so nervous to do this other conversation, but I cannot wait to share it with you, hopefully in the next few weeks. hopefully in the next few weeks. And I want to give you time to sort of digest some of the conversations that we're having. That's why I realize I'm not like normally putting these out like every week or every 2 weeks. Like I feel like there needs to be some space. And I want to really honor the conversations, the space and time that I've had with each guest. And they've just been so generous with their time and share their experience and their story. And that just blesses my socks off. And I hope that it blesses you as well. So hang out with me in Patreon if you are a woman who loves Jesus and has a value for encouragement and prayer. And if you are on Instagram, that's where I love to hang on the most if I'm on social media. I can't wait to hear from you how you're doing, what you need prayer for, what impacted you in this conversation. And I cannot wait to continue this adventure and journey with you in the next conversation. We're just doing this one day, 1 month, 1 week, 1 year at a time with the Lord. So steady on. Let's keep going. I'll see you on the next conversation. Bye for now.